More power outages expected due to gas supply shortfall. We have details shortly. Also coming up, government urged to expedite negotiations with external creditors as part of measures to control rising public debt. We'll bring you some international news as Israel conducts targeted raids in central area of Gaza Strip, striking dozens of Hamas targets. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. Let's start off with this. The Ghana Grid Company Limited, Gridco, has announced that parts of the country will experience power challenges during peak times. In a statement, Gridco, the operator of the National Interconnected Transmission System, explained that this is due to limited gas supply to Tema, causing a supply gap of 550 megawatts at peak time. The statement said, quote, "This will affect power supply to consumers in some parts of the country." A section of the public prior to the statement by Gridco had raised concerns on various social media platforms over the intermittent power outages being experienced in the country. But what has been the state of the country's power supply in the past few days? And you see that on your screen, explaining to you what has been happening and what it means for the future. So we know that shortage in gas supply is causing power outages across the country. And these intermittent outages were recorded between 23rd September to 16th October. Now, the catch is that more pronounced outages recorded in the last 2 weeks. It means the situation is increasing. The general power needs across the country is at least 3,150 megawatt. That is what is needed for effective and proper power generation and distribution in the country. However, shortage of 650 megawatts recorded on Wednesday, October 25. And then on October 26, there was a shortage of 550 megawatts, and that was just Thursday, yesterday. Any shortage beyond 250 megawatts will result in significant outages across the country, and that is what we are seeing at the moment. And the worst affected areas when that happens will be the densely populated regions. And if you decentralize further, in these regions, we're looking at the Greater Accra, the Central, Eastern, the Northern region, and other parts of the country will be impacted the most if that happens. The main reason for the shortage is a halt in gas supply from the West African Gas Pipeline Company due to Ghana's indebtedness. So it is this: until Ghana is able to pay off its debt, this is something that we will be battling with in the coming days until something is done about it. Let's speak with JFA Bampo, who is the manager of corporate communications at Gridco. She joins us with some more updates. JFA, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. What specifically is the challenge, or what has accounted for these outages beyond Ghana's inability to pay its debt?
I'm not informed of the commercial issues. Gridco, as the transmitter of bulk power, has a responsibility to provide up to some 3,150 megawatts of power daily to service domestically, to provide that power to the electricity company of Ghana. However, in the event that we are unable to provide that quantum, we then have the responsibility to inform the public that the shortfall and as a result of being accomplished. I want to emphasize that these outages experienced on Wednesday evening and Thursday are not a result of any equipment failure or system disturbance. It is a matter that is of a commercial nature, and that has nothing to do with GridCo. We rely on the gas to give to the generators so they can generate the power. They give it to us and we give to ECG. So it is the glitch in the value chain that has resulted in this regrettable situation.
My next question would be the question on the minds of many. How long can we expect these outages, and which areas are we cooling in the midst of the problem that we find ourselves in?
So you've asked two questions. I'll answer the latter bit about the areas that may be affected. GridCo is unable to provide that information because we do not deal directly with individual domestic users. So that would be the mandate of the Electricity Company of Ghana. It is up to them to decide if they want to show all of us a timetable. GridCo has no control over that. So in terms of which areas, I'm unable to say so. All I'm able to tell you is that at this time, this amount of power is unavailable. It then becomes ECG's responsibility to manage the limited megawatts available accordingly. And if they decide to share a timetable, that's really their decision. Then your previous question about how long will this last? To be honest, GridCo does not know. What I can tell you is that until these commercial issues with the pipeline are sorted out, we will have some more outages. So today, I can at least inform the general public that I know that there are some outages happening during the day currently, which is what we call off-peak. And we know that there will be further outages during peak time, which is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It is a regrettable situation, but this is a matter that is really out of GridCo's hand. Until we see some significant change over the next 3 to 6 hours, it is likely that the outage will continue today. And until the commercial issues are addressed, the outages may persist because we produce up to 350 million standard cubic feet of gas from the west. We get 120 million, I think, from Tallow field, and we get a little over 200 and something from ENI. And what happens is that not all of that gas is used in the Western Enclave. Some of it is shipped via the pipeline to Tema, because there are lots of plants in the Eastern Enclave. They also need gas. So the reality is that until we have that full mix of gas coming from the west to the east, and then gas which comes from Nigeria, currently there is no issue with gas from Nigeria. So when we have that in addition, then all the plants can run at full capacity, and there will be no outage issue. Currently, that is not the situation from the Western Enclave to the east.
So in the face of this, you're saying that the worst affected areas would be the densely populated areas in the country, for instance, the densely populated regions. There's a mention of the Greater Accra, the northern part of the country. They will be impacted the most. Is there an explanation to this target?
Okay, so what I would say is that we don't determine who goes off. ECG does. But from a technical standpoint, the engineers managing the system will look at the load across the country.
Right.
Areas that have significant levels of load will have to lose some of that load. And so that is determined based on an analysis, a technical analysis that is done to meet the megawatt that is lost. So it could be a combination of both.
Right.
You may have some areas that are densely populated, like if you talk about, and this is just an example, which I know tends to come up a lot. The area that is known as Accra East, These are areas, Teshinungwa, Sintex, all the way to East Legon, Adringano, all the way to Adenta. I do know that there's a heavy load there because these are high-income people. They use heavy, loads. You're talking about the air conditioning and other equipment. So in such instances, you may see some load shed in that area.
Right.
And then there will be some there will be some less densely populated areas like where I live in Ashongman, where the load may not be so heavy. You may lose some as well. So it really depends on the technical analysis done at that moment in time. It varies from day to day. Right.
Jifa, thank you. But before I let you go, talk to us about the situation in Sogakopa in the Volta region. Your station that was flooded as a result of the current predicament in the Volta region from the overflow of the Volta Lake and the spillage of the Akosomo Dam. When will it be restored?
Thanks very much for raising this issue. Regrettably, our substation remains significantly flooded. We are unable to access the substation, and as a result, the substation will most likely be out of commission until the waters recede. I was there sometime last week. The waters were still significantly high, and apart from that, you're unable to keep any staff member at the substation. We do visit it from time to time to check on it. However, we have cables submerged. All of those will have to be changed. We have our transformer submerged as well. That will have to be dismantled, dried, and tested to be sure that it will deliver the reliability we need. And then there are other equipment and accessories that we likely will have to change. So it's a lot of work that will happen to restore the substation. I know that the technical committee has already started an assessment. Some spare equipment are being identified, and they're working towards the time when we can go there and restore it. But it's really not over by a long shot, and we've had to shut down the substation. It is next door to the ECG substation, so both are shut down, and we have had to wheel power through Angloga. And we know that that poses a challenge because of the unstable voltages. And so some areas tend to be off, and then others would be on. So we've been managing that load together with ECG as well. But thank you for raising it. And we sympathize with all our community members in that area and to everyone who's been affected.
JFA Bampo, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. JFA Bampo is the manager of corporate communications at Gridco there. Away from that, former Power Minister Dr. Kwabena Donkor has hit back at the former Energy Minister Boakye Jarko, insisting that he cannot escape blame for the $140 million judgment debt the nation must pay to power producer Ghana Power Generation Company, GPCG. Now, this comes in the wake of Boakye Jarko arguing that the decision to terminate power deal which resulted in the debt was one taken by the government and not him as an individual.
Ghana in 2015 entered into an agreement with power producer Ghana Power Generation Company GPGC for the provision of a fast-track power generation plant. This was at the time the nation was experiencing energy crisis. Following a change in government in 2017, a decision was taken to terminate the agreement since the nation risked spending more on power it did not require. The company dragged government to an international arbitrator who ruled that the termination was unlawful. GPGC has since been trying to enforce a $140 million judgment debt by seeking to sell major properties belonging to Ghana located in the United Kingdom. This includes the Regina House, which houses the Ghana International Bank in London. Former Power Minister Dr. Kwabena Donkor had publicly stated that the former Energy Minister Boakye Jarko had questions to answer. Boakye Jarko has issued a statement arguing that the decision to terminate the deal was one taken by Cabinet, but the Pro East Member of Parliament is still not impressed.
He signed a letter of termination. Any minister has responsibility for what he signs. The committee members are not here to tell us what he informed. In any case, advice has always never been binding. Advice remains advice. You take the ultimate decision. It is your responsibility.
He wants a probe into the matter.
First of all, I call for 2 inquiries. the president might institute an internal inquiry to unravel what led to this. Cabinet is advisory to the president. Then at the level of the legislature, since the decision to terminate was taken by the executive arm of government, it is the legislature that has oversight responsibility over the executive. We also have to set up an inquiry.
Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, meanwhile, says it is working with the Finance Ministry to ensure that the debt is paid to avoid the sale of the properties.
Away from that to some other subjects this afternoon. Following the devastating floods, a hidden struggle is unfolding in safe havens where relief items are distributed. It has become the survival of the fittest. Emmanuel Samani reports persons living with disabilities are unable to access any items due to the ongoing scramble for them.
Since you've moved here, we understand that you're having a lot of challenges receiving some of the relief items. Is that the case?
Yeah, that is the case. When items are brought to this place, they share it according to the number of houses that are found on the campus. And if you are not quick, and then they have registered some of the people, they will just leave you just like that, and you'll be all around without anything.
But for the intervention of Ukudeta Blakwa, I wouldn't have received anything. We are not able to fight for the items when they come in.
So we understand that currently some of the relief items are being shared here at the St. Kizito Senior High School. And clearly, no arrangements have been made for persons living with disability, to get some of the items. And so we're here to see for ourselves if indeed that is the case.
So this is the situation here, and as you can see, one person, an elderly woman is leaving the scene. Very chaotic here because people are trying to get relief items, and so it's absolute chaos, anarchy, if you ask me. Absolute chaos and anarchy going on here at the St. Kizito Senior High School, one of the safe havens, not too safe, one of the safe havens, not too safe. And so persons living with disability can't even get in. Even abled individuals can't get their hands on some of the items. How much more persons living with disability? Let me quickly engage one of the persons with disability here. Sir, you've been telling me about how chaotic things get here. How does that make you feel looking at how all these things are going on?
In fact, I don't even know what to say. This is how it always goes on. And how can we, as Physical Challenge, go and compete for things like this? We cannot. And we think the community is not actually helping us at all. So if any organization is presenting an item, it means we should be giving our own separately before announcement to be made. Because things like this, we cannot in any case join them, compete, and take any item at all for ourselves. It's really, really difficult.
So that is the current situation here at the St. Kizito Senior High School. Absolute chaos, absolute anarchy, not entirely safe, even though it's a safe haven. And obviously, this is not the way to go. It's very disappointing at the leaders here at the St. Kizito Senior High School. We'll definitely keep an eye out on how the distribution process unfolds in subsequent days, and we'll update you subsequently right here on TV3. Reporting for TV3 News, Emmanuel Samani, St. Kizito Senior High School.
Well, very disturbing there. Security analyst Colonel Festus Abuaji has criticized the government's handling of the flood disaster victims in the aftermath of the Akoso Mill Dam spillage by the Volta River Authority. Speaking on Ghana Tonight, the security expert was worried about the lack of a national disaster management plan.
There is a very palpable, conspicuous absence of government. So the president is out of the country to give a lecture on Ghana's role as a model of democracy in bringing stability to West Africa and so on and so forth, when the country was facing this disaster. no government official visited the disaster area until the president returned and went there on the 16th. So 40,000 Ghanaians are displaced in 22 or so shelters, and the government is sitting in the capital and talking politics. Or the vice going there and giving 160,000 cedis. 2017, we gave $1 million to Sierra Leone, but the figures in Sierra Leone were far less. Here we are talking of 40,000 Ghanaians. So it's bits and pieces of, government going there and not saying the right things and not giving any indications of any substantive plan. Now, if you tell people that you have a three-pronged strategy to provide relief, now how is the relief being provided? NADMO hasn't even got a budget. So a strategy is not the solution to this. A strategy must be followed by a plan. As we speak, the government hasn't got a plan. A disaster management plan is not on the table.
Well, the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Sergi Saji, says they will do their best to ensure all persons affected by the floods following the spillage of the Akosombo Dam get the needed assistance. He spoke to TV3 after my colleague Emmanuel Samani's story of how people with disabilities struggle to get aid.
The challenge we have is with those who come to present items. Some people want to actually do the distribution of the items themselves when they come to present the items. But we have put a system and a structure in place to do the distribution. The people are in their households, so we do distribution maybe every other day to these groupings. And these groupings are on all the safe havens. So for example, St. Kizito, I know they have close to about 60 groupings that they do distribution to. But if somebody comes and wants to distribute, certainly you don't know those who are the leaders of the various groups. There are two NADMO staffs that are attached to St. Kizito, for example. They have a list and they have a data of which households get what, at what time. And since we started sharing, they've been keeping that record. So maybe the unfortunate situation you saw was one of the ones that normally we advise that you present the thing to the center, then the thing will be distributed, the items will be distributed accordingly. I think it is last week that I had the list of all the disabled people people with disability in most of the camps. And we actually did some allocation to all of them. I think the number they brought was about 62. And we did some relief administration to them differently from what is done to the households on the safe haven.
In the meantime, the Interministerial Committee set up to investigate and coordinate the government response towards the victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage. They are meeting, and already NADMO has been at the forefront of distributing relief items to victims as private organizations also step up efforts to support the victims. Joseph Armstrong is at Bato and he's joining us with some more update on government intervention so far. Armstrong, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on the program. Which of the members have you spotted, members of the Interministerial Committee?
We have the NADMO director himself for the very first time. We are seeing on the ground here, his deputy that has been doing the work for some days now. But today he's here briefing the media, and I've also seen the Deputy Minister of Information, and also I've seen the Finance Minister, Honorable Oforiata, who is also seated here yet to speak to the media. But earlier, the NADMO director himself has been speaking about plans they have ahead of the giving out of some relief items to the displaced victims.
In the engagement with the communities, what have you picked up so far?
So, of it's about how things are disbursed, the relief items are disbursed to the affected victims, and they say it's not well coordinated. And that's a question we asked the NADMO director, and he explained to us that the issue comes as a result of individual private organizations that come in and they did not pass to the right channel to give the relief items to people. That is the discussion that we see around. But then the national director has spoken to us also explained that not all 6 districts affected, not all the districts that have been affected is as a result of the spillage water from the VRA, but also because of torrential rains that have been falling for some time now. So they are taking their time to look to the districts that have been affected, but not to the spillage water that is coming from the VRA, that is Akosomo Dam. And for now, he's asking people to come down as they give them enough relief items as the day goes by.
Armstrong, thank you so much. Armstrong Gold-Alagbe is my colleague in Bator community there. Now, the MPP flag bearer aspirant Kennedy Ohene Japan says the Volta River Authority may have to compensate victims of the Akosomo Dam spillage. Presenting relief items to victims of the spillage, Kennedy Japan advocated for the use of technology to be adopted to utilize the excess water for other purposes like irrigation.
Dams everywhere. Why do we always have the flood? It's a big question that we have to ask and see how best we can solve it. I don't know how other people will say that the people are stubborn when they've lost almost everything that they've acquired over the years. I think such things, it doesn't help, you know. So I'm of the opinion that right things must be done. First, the VRA, no matter what, they have to compensate. That I promise you, I'm going to fight for. And you see, they make some mistakes. And we, who are not even engineers, we make them, our common sense application makes them, you know, people like, you know, hey, do they have experience or not? Or they have the expertise? Because you made one important statement that they should have opened it gradually, you know, for the flow of it. And look, I can tell you, see all the farms you have here, we need huge tanks that we can store this water and use it during the dry season. But you open it just for it to go. I mean, hey, you know. So I sit back and I just look at them and say, you know, these are the people we have in position of trust. We should, now there's technology. And this water, it shouldn't even go to waste. We should have systems where we can store this water and even filter it for the pure water people that you are saying could even use it. And again, Abeime, Bator, all your rice farms, and you can use it for irrigation if it is properly planned. I think that is what should be done.
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby-Ann. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you updates on the official commencement of the final funeral rites of Nadede Omedro III.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Favorite Abna Rice is saying thank you to all its loyal customers and consumers for being loyal to the brand. From the 1st of September 2023 to 31st of January 2024, buy any 4.5 kg bag of Abna Rice and you stand the chance of finding a gift voucher inside the bag. Prizes you stand to find include LED TVs, washing machines, microwaves, blenders, smartphones, bags of rice, burners, and many more. Redeem your gift vouchers from any Lele depot or selected wholesalers nationwide. So, what are you waiting for? Go on and grab your 4.5 kg bag of Abna Rice and win big. Remember, the Abna Achedia promo is on from the 1st of September 2023 and ends on 31st of January 2024. It's the Abna Achedia promo. Buy more, win more. Terms and conditions apply. This advert is FDA approved.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me kwan point no mo hwe me modem no mo he bibia na so mo medu me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you. Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che.
Okay.
A free bra wo di end point wa dance. Me call you no. Me Johnson sema na nkoyie person ma yemre nyina na magina sabema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
Me kai mre bi etwemu na de bia ye dabone ma me chinyi no nanso ene ye chua me maximum regular hair relaxer and free olive hair moisturizer ka ho no ma bra bo asesa me the maximum olive hair moisturizer no fa maximum regular hair relaxer no na me dia fa me chinyi na se maximum regular hair relaxer ye chinyi ase ejuma ma ne ye mre moto na atnetene no so kama me also the maximum's rich hair pomade ye me chinyi na se na amananse amanembubu na amanantetenso afei dia me chinyi na ashrin emu so ye dru maximum super hair relaxer so go homa wona wo chinyi na edin maximum hair relaxer because you are the max.
FD adwedi enkrat.
Ye frame me dede. So mu se me gina ha. Na eye Franco Trading Enterprise. Omo television papa no. Ana me gusu a me di ho dance e chiro. So we see hotels, hospitals, schools, offices, apartments. Sorry. Na wo pet TV papa e di abomu. Eye Franco Television. Papa wani abranti a wasiso. Upe TV di about them ma. And shebe bia se Franco Trading Enterprise. Ya wa 24 inches wo ho, 32 inches wo ho, 43 inches wo ho, 55 inches. And a kesiye 65 inches. It's a show when you shebe bia. Bra Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Television papa.
This is the new season of your #1 cooking show, McBrown's Kitchen.
Watch us on TV3.
5 to 6 p.m. every Saturday.
McBrown's Kitchen.
McBrown's Kitchen.
McBrown's Kitchen shows this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3.
Do you want to be a star?
You saw them in pairs as they dazzled you with extraordinary musical skills last Sunday.
It's an amazing performance.
This week, they stand alone to give you a taste of what they know how to do best on the mental stage. Yeah! All 16 contestants will perform great renditions of music from their own choosing. It's the freestyle edition for TV3 Mentor Season 12. Catch the Mentor Season 12 show live this and every Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3. TV3 Mentor Season 12. The world awaits you.
The mental vibe.
Mental is brought to you by Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil and Napa Foods Sense Body Spray.
Bell Ice, Vitamilk, Dragnet.
Welcome back to the program. Let's bring you some more stories in relation to the impact of the Akosombo Dam spillage and its devastating effect. We know that following it, there's been a hidden struggle unfolding in the safe havens. It has now become the survival of the fittest. Emmanuel Semani reports of persons living with disabilities being unable to access the items due to the ongoing scramble for them. Let's speak with Rita Kusi Chema, who is the Executive Director of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organization. She's joining us at the moment. Rita, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. A very sad development in the Volta region and other parts of the country. The distribution of relief items, your members are not able to get them as they would have wished for. Are there any interventions to aid in their being able to get these relief items?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, for us to have a better picture of the situation, we sent a delegation to 3 districts, that is Central Tongue, South Tongue, and North Tongue, to meet with some persons with disabilities who have been affected. From our records, there are over 1,000 persons with disabilities in these 3 districts who have been affected, and I must emphasize that close to 300 of them have been severely affected. That is, they've lost everything, including their livelihoods, their belongings, and assistive devices, and therefore are unable to move around to access other relief support that is coming to the community. We as a federation made some donation for the immediate term, some cash donation, but we want to use this opportunity to call on all the stakeholders who are working in the affected communities to prioritize the needs of persons with disabilities. This is critical because we acknowledge that everyone is affected, but the needs of persons with disabilities is usually beyond what everyone experiences. So we have people who have lost wheelchairs, some have lost their calipers, their crutches, and these include children.
Right.
We have about 225 people across the 3 communities or 3 districts who require white canes. We have some data, and we think that it is important for NADMO and other institutions who are working in the communities to pay particular attention to the needs of persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Right. Rita, thank you. We'll find time and engage with you more on efforts to ensure that the struggle of persons with disabilities having to access relief items comes to an end. Rita Kusi Chema is the Executive Director of the Federation of Disability Organization in the country. Away from that, some youth in secondary Takoradi, they've taken to the streets to register their displeasure about the poor state of infrastructure in the Twin City and Western region. Clad in black and red and holding placards, they walked from Takoradi to the Western Regional Coordinating Council of Secondary to present their petition to the regional minister. The Western Regional Minister, Otri Dako Mensah, however, was unavailable to receive their petition, and this did not go down well with them. Musician Aisem explains his decision to join the protesters.
What did we do wrong? All we had to do was to vote for you to come to power. For you to come and disappoint us. They've been doing so many fake stories. They tell us a whole lot of things. They don't do anything. Please, we deserve better. We are tired. We are hungry. We have no jobs. We have no jobs. We are now in school. We know what to do.
Well, still in the Western region, commuting on the Hafasini-Saminga Road has become a challenge, especially to farmers and traders who transport their wares on the stretch. They complain Commercial drivers now charge exorbitantly due to the bad nature of the road. Western Regional Correspondent Park Kujo Peters has more in this report.
About 8-kilometer stretch, which starts from Semenye Junction to Halfasini, extends to Newtown and Jawi Waf, which borders Ivory Coast. The road plays an important role in the day-to-day activities of both residents and companies operating in the area in conveying their goods and products. The poor state of the road, which is the only access route to the municipal capital and to communities in Ivory Coast, is affecting the movement of products and cash crops, including cocoa, rubber and coconut, among others. Residents complain that commercial drivers have taken advantage and are now charging high rates for their services.
Because the road is not good, and when you're going to have a snail address, if you during the antenatal, some people have miscarriage.
And Jomoro so intina yani Cote d'Ivoire issue no oil issue no yetumi when a case no or hake no. And so yeah, Chefon Bia Emma.
Jomoro plays a major role in the development of the country, yet we are deprived of the needed development.
Some of the road users also shared their grievances.
Yeah, this region say Ghana gas ebera beye ya dum no maboyen. Our road
has been in this state for several years now. We are pleading with Ghana Gas to help in the construction of the road, since it plays a role in their day-to-day activities.
This police for bridge and a half.
This portion of the road is gradually caving in, and the municipality will be totally cut off should this happen.
Member of Parliament for Jomoro, Dokas Afo Tofi, says efforts are underway to get the road constructed.
This very year, I filed a question and the Minister for Roads came and he told us that there is no money. The government currently doesn't have money. But I know that the funding was supposed to come from DMPC. So I asked him why that hasn't been done. Because it was supposed to have been done 2019. And up till now, it hasn't been done. And looking at the state of the road is very, 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 very bad. So as a member of
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. We're going for a quick break. We're back with some business news. Stay with us.
The news that matters most is the news that hits closest to home.
When it breaks, we are there.
If it touches your family, your city, affects your expenditure, your decisions, as well as your safety, we've got it covered.
It's easy to just cover the news. What we are doing is different, creating a news experience that prepares you for anything. TV3 News, award-winning journalism, world-class quality, on TV and online, right at your doorstep. TV3. First in news. This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country.
The key points of the stories that matter with the people who matter.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program. Every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7. TV3, first in news.
Hello and welcome to the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Menuafo. Let's start off with a professor of finance, Williams Pepra, who is urging the government to fast-track its external debt restructuring to unlock the second tranche of the IMF disbursements, which will stabilize the local currency. He says this is a critical measure to control the country's rising public debt. His comments come after rating agency Fitch projected that Ghana's public sector debt will reach 99% of GDP at the end of 2023, up from 88% in 2022.
What can save us is for us to get our external creditors agreeing to a haircut. The finance minister has mentioned about 40%, 40 to 30% haircuts. If you're able to get this haircut done on the external creditors, especially the bond holders, it's going to free up space to reduce our interest payment, and then government will need to have money to do a lot of projects. So the way we see it, we need that external creditors issue to be resolved. And the moment it's resolved, based on what the IMF documents, that is when IMF is going to release the second tranche of the 600 million to come in our coffers to increase our balance of payments. And we will immediately see that the foreign currency, our currency will become a little bit stronger and the devaluation will stop. So that is the kind of challenge we face as a country. So that negotiation needs to be concluded immediately, and that will have the impact that I have mentioned.
Well, away from that, in the wake of the dam spillage in Ghana, the tilapia market is witnessing a surge in fears among consumers. Worries have emerged regarding the possible contamination of fish as a result of the floods. Concurrently, the industry faces the dual challenge of securing a stable supply and preserving its credibility. There's more in the following report.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it, especially about the water being contaminated. So now we are even afraid that tilapia we are eating, whether it's contaminated or not.
John's concerns echo those of countless tilapia consumers in the country. The recent dam spillage has triggered widespread apprehension, with fears that contaminated fish may have found their way into the market during the floods. The Akosombo and Bon dams were spilled earlier this month in a bid to ensure their structural integrity. Compounding these anxieties is the uncertainty surrounding the consistent supply of tilapia, as numerous fish farms fell victim to the deluge, compelling some dealers to bolster their stock.
Considering the situation, I thought it wise to take enough stock that will last longer rather than not getting stock, because I know there will be shortage from next week or two from now, because they are complaining that almost all their fishes are dead. So the little that is left, prices will go up.
These concerns resonate not only with the consumers, but also with certain producers fortunate enough to escape the flood's impact. They foresee heightened pressure to meet the escalating market demands in the days ahead.
We're not looking forward to let it have so much impact on pricing, though we also have to improve on our production in order to satisfy the market.
Amid this intricate web of challenges, one question looms large. What do consumers themselves make of these unfolding events?
I'm very concerned about the contamination, the price. I don't have a problem with it. Because I like tilapia, I always come and eat tilapia.
If you are a tilapia lover and you know the benefits that come with it, we expect it. After all, we are not in normal times.
Living miles away from communities impacted by the spillage of the dam will not shield tilapia lovers from its impact, particularly on their budget. But the larger concern is what become of women whose income depend directly on access to these fishes. Michael Obodu, 3 Business, Accra.
And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Midday Live with me, Menu Afo. Stay with us for more stories from the world of sports.
It's now time for the sports segment here on Midday Live with Miore Kwampofo. We start off from the camp of the Black Queens, who face Benin in the second round of Olympic qualifiers on Friday. The team are currently unbeaten under Swiss coach Nora Hoptel, who is confident her side will continue their good form.
We are still on our mission Volta, until unbeaten and no goals conceded. So of course we want to continue this way. We worked hard this week, first of all on our values. It's all about also defending well, and then we come to our unity, determination, selflessness, and then we put this also on the pitch in 2 good sessions. So far I'm satisfied. Against Benin, we know them already from a test and friendly game from February. We proper analyze them. We know about their transitions. They also have some international players from France, which they fought in. So we are aware of their strengths, but are pretty convinced to make a very good game here, a good performance, and then to come home on Tuesday and play in our front crowd.
Well, you can get updates of that game between the Black Queens and Benin later today on our social media handles. But let's do some more here, where West Ham United's December 2023-2024 schedule has been confirmed, with the Hammers set to play. Just a reminder that clubs are required to release players called up to compete in FIFA-sanctioned competitions 14 days to the first match of the tournament. Still in the Premier League, where Eddie Howe outlines that there's a high chance Sandro Tonali could play this weekend, with the ban yet to be confirmed. Tonali has been banned for 10 months due to gambling addiction and a scandal that also sees him miss an additional 8 months, which he would be participating in gambling rehab.
Well, it's a difficult one, Razor, because we haven't had official confirmation as a football club yet. So we've heard the news, sort of the speculation statement, but we haven't had anything from the Italian authorities at the moment. So we're sort of in limbo, really, waiting for that official confirmation to come through. Yeah, I think there's a high chance again that he could be available for us. I still think there's a few things that have to happen before the ban's imposed. So let's see. Well, I think you saw from the Dortmund game, I thought he came on and did really well. He was bright. That's how he's trained. From the moment this happened, I think his training performances have been very good. So that's the only way I can judge him. His mood is the same. You know, he's good around the group. He's good around the training ground. Obviously, it is there in the background, and I'm sure when he goes home, there are difficult times for him. But from what I can see, he's handling himself in the right way.
To some boxing now, where Tyson Fury vowed to knock Francis Ngannou spark out during a chaotic media conference, which was overshadowed by the antics of the Britain's father. Now, Fury will face former UFC champion Ngannou, who has no professional record in boxing, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday. WBC heavyweight champion Fury's title will not be on the line. Now, Fury says that, "I know you can't punch, zero power," in addressing Ngannou. Now, the French Cameroonian replied, "Okay, you can leave your chin on the way and you will find out." Well, that's how I'll be wrapping up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Oreku Ampofu. Up next on the bulletin is Entertainment with Anita.
Welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu, and celebrated music duo Keche has appealed to their colleague musicians to own high life and other Ghanaian music genres and rally around them to promote Ghana internationally. And the group is saddened by the fact that most of their colleagues have ditched the high life genre and are now identifying with Afrobeat, which is known Nigerian brand.
Get it, something must happen. Get it, something must happen. By hook or cuckoo, something must happen.
It's a feel-good song.
Okay.
It's a song that we really want everyone to enjoy themselves with, because we realize that Ghanaians, the artists, we are losing our way a bit.
Is that
now,
so?
We are following that Afrobeat. So even now when you do high life, they say Afrobeat. Okay, so we are leaving our hip life and our life behind. So I'm like, no, Andrew, we need to bring some banger. We need to give people the hip life and the high life they know us with.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you feel like local acts are losing their way?
Yeah, I think because now because of Afrobeat. So when the diaspora, when they come in right now, and they be like, oh, we went to Ghana, okay, they're also doing Afrobeat. But Nigerians are already there. They are making sure they are closing every gap and becoming bigger. So what are we sending to them?
And some very good news, the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, Edward Enimfo, has been named the UK's most influential black person by the Power List 2024. And Powerful Media annual list celebrates people of African, Caribbean and African American heritage. And now in its 18th year, it highlights black role models to young people. Other names to make the list for the 2024 list include Ifwache Bank of England, Chief Financial Officer and Dragon's Den star and podcaster Stephen Bartlett. The Ghanaian-born British editor and stylist Enimfo is the first black man to hold the top job at the British fashion magazine. The 51-year-old described it as an honor to be number one on the list, which he said shines a light on black people really breaking boundaries, who are unafraid and champion what it means to be truly diverse in their own industries. And still in entertainment, in a groundbreaking announcement, renowned Ghanaian rapper Medical is set to headline his own concert at a prestigious O2 Indigo in London. The event, scheduled for May 3, 2024, marks a significant milestone in the artist's career as he ventures beyond Ghana's borders to showcase his talent on the international stage. And for Medical, this concert represents more than just a performance. It is a testament to his unwavering dedication and the global appeal of his music. The O2 Indigo concert promises to be a night of musical magic that will leave an indelible mark on the African hip-hop landscape. Well, definitely looking forward to that one. And that's it for the entertainment news segment. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu. Up next is international news. Good afternoon.
In international news this afternoon, Israel says it has conducted targeted raids in the central area of the Gaza Strip and struck dozens of Hamas targets. The Israel Defense Forces said Shadi Baroud, the deputy head of Hamas intelligence arm, was killed in a targeted operation. Now, the UN's top humanitarian official, Martin Griffiths, said aid is barely trickling in, and that is a situation that is depleting fuel supplies. EU leaders have called for pauses in fighting between Israel and Hamas to allow aid to reach the civilians in the countries. More than 1,400 people were killed in the initial attacks on Israel by Hamas on 7th October, and Israel says more than 220 are still being held hostage in Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry says 7,000 people have been killed since Israeli airstrikes on Gaza began. Still in international news, and the U.S. has carried out airstrikes against two weapons and other ammunition storage facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said the strikes were in response to recent attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq and Iranian-backed militia groups. Well, that's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and we have the entire production team. Thank you so much for watching the bulletin. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.